Hello.
My greetings. Well met. Greetings, traveler. Greetings, friend.
The pleasure is mine.
Hello and welcome to episode 268 of Coin Concede, a Hearthstone podcast dedicated to making the competitive side of the game more accessible to you. It is Wednesday, November 25th in the evening, day before American Thanksgiving. Joining from Gadsden, New York, it's me, Ridiculous Hat. From Karazhan, California, we've got Botticus.
Hello.
From Undercity, Pennsylvania, it's Edelweiss.
Hello.
And from where you are, listener, we give thanks to you because we are supported directly by you. If you'd like to find out how you can support us, receive rewards in return, head to patreon.com/coinconcede. You can also support us by leaving an iTunes review. Totally free and really helps other people find the show. We are going to be doing a bonus episode in the near future. We're targeting next week, but I'm not going to commit to that yet. But a few people have left very nice reviews, so we want to really express our thanks for everyone that has done that. We'll be reading those out loud in the next bonus episode. But if you've left a review, thank you so much for that. All right. Life and Ladder. Botticus, I like what you have written here. Tell us how your week is going.
Pretty good. So after last week, I heard that Shaman was playable from my dear co-hosts, and played a little bit of what was the other Shaman deck I played? I played some Totem Shaman. I wasn't having a lot of luck with it. Still think it's definitely powerful, and there's a lot of different ways to build it, but it didn't really have the same kick that I was looking for, so I tried out this Evolve Shaman deck, and that deck's good. That deck's real good. Been enjoying it quite a bit. I got up to like Diamond 3-ish. Yeah, I'm like Diamond 3 right now. Haven't been pushing really hard like I've done in the past, but just been enjoying that deck. Also played a little bit of Clown Druid because I had a couple rough games with Evolved Shaman, and sometimes I like to switch it up. But I'll probably should have time to make a push for Legend, probably with Evolved Shaman, just because I think the deck's good. It's a lot of fun. It's got some very powerful cards in it that like Storm Strike is just a really freaking good card and gets me out of a lot of jams. I don't know if it's correct, but I've been keeping it in a lot of matchups where I expect there to be early game minions that you want to deal with, and yeah, that card's just really performed super well. And then every once in a while, you have the weapon equipped and you just bash them in the head for 7, and yeah, so it's been good. But there's that card, and then what was it? Train wreck something?
Oh, Derailed Coaster.
Yeah, Derailed Coaster. That card also was super surprising. I was kind of wondering why it was in the deck, and then I played it the first time. I was like, oh, so you just like innervated out on turn 3 against any aggro deck, and they lose because all of their stuff is dead. Because it makes like 4 rush minions, and it's really good. So,
and you can probably cast a Mogu on top of it for free.
Yeah, the funny thing is most of the time I wasn't doing that, and then eventually many games down the road I got to do that on a turn where I also had the weapon equipped, and you just kill all of their stuff, and then you get a 10 cost minion on board, and it's really good. So, been enjoying it. Yeah, deck's just really solid, and I really like going weapon into the pirate.
Dread Corsair,
yeah.
Or
yeah,
no,
it just feels like
Dread
you
Corsair
have,
or Horde Pillager, or both. They're both good. I like
both. Mostly Horde Pillager, just because it feels like you kind of never run out of stuff when that happens. So, yeah, I mean that's what I've been doing, and every once in a while you get the board where you evolve 5-drop into a 2/1 or whatever into like a really crappy minion, and that'll happen.
A Chromatic Egg, a Blood Herald.
Yeah, I think there was one I had a game against Paladin where I was doing really well, and then I evolved 5 minions or something. All of them were 3 cost plus, and everything just instantly died to a consecrate. So I was like, oh, sometimes that's just gonna happen. You're just not gonna get a great board, but other than that, it's been good.
Yeah. Well, glad you're enjoying it. I do agree that Shaman feels pretty fun. You know who else thinks Shaman is fun? What's up, Edelweiss?
I'm not playing good shaman decks though. You started playing shaman because it's playable, and I'm playing the unplayable shaman.
I mean, you have to stay on brand, right?
Yeah. I was playing earlier today some combo quest shaman, which we might have explained this combo before. I think we have. Yeah, last episode where you.
Why don't
Get a
you just
couple-
run through it one more time, just to make sure everyone's current? It might not be in the forefront of people's impressions of the meta right now.
With Lightning Bloom, you can get double Yasharaj activation of the battle cry if you are playing Quest Shaman. So getting corrupted dunk tanks and circus medics means that you can do some serious damage from hand because all of those become free off of Yasharaj. So if you have a couple of corrupted circus medics, each of those is going to do 8 damage. If you've played 2, Yasharaj will give you 4, so 32 damage. Dunk Tank just adds extra if you've gotten any of those mixed in. And my current build of the deck also has Cthulhu, just in case that isn't enough. And also, since I have Sunreaver Warmage and Groundskeeper in there, which both care about having spells that cost 5 or more mana, but there's no space in the list to actually run those spells and have a high enough density of battle cries to complete the quest quickly and get your card draw going. So I get to spend 1 card slot to add 4 5-mana spells to the deck. That is just enough to activate those without taking up too many deck slots. And Cthulhu almost never gets played, but I did face a warrior earlier today who gained maybe upwards of 70 armor over the course of the game, but between both combos, Cthulhu dealing 60 damage, I managed to get there.
So, okay, just to be clear, the warrior gained a lot of armor, but you did double Cthulhu into double Yasharaj for 4 dunk tanks and 4 circus
Other way
medics.
around, but yeah.
Oh no, so you did the Yasharajing first. Of course, how silly of me that I didn't figure that out. That sounds very
Oh
enjoyable.
yeah, clearly the 60 damage wasn't good enough.
Well, the
Needed.
Cthulhu also took longer to put together. Also, just to remind listeners, you may not have heard of this card. Sunreaver Warmage is a 5-mana 4/4. If you have a 5-cost or more spell in your hand, it deals 4 damage to a target. It seemed very good the first day of Rise of Shadows and kind of fell out of list after about a week of that.
Yeah, that card was like super good, and we were talking about it a bunch, and then literally
And then it
everybody
just-
cut it from the lists and never put it back in.
Yeah, turns out...
Until Turtle Mage.
Yes, but even then, we didn't always play that. Yeah, it was... I liked Sunreaver Warmage, but it turns out that lowering the curve is better in every format in Hearthstone's history. So we just did that, and that means less 5-cost spells. But I'm glad that it's found a home in Edelweiss Combo Shaman, and I'm glad that you were somehow able... Wait, did you get the Cthulhu achievement? Did you get the Cthulhu achievement?
Wait, there's a
Killed it
Cthulhu
from...
achievement?
If you kill someone from full health with Cthulhu the Shattered, then you get an achievement.
Oh, they might not have been at full health though, because I dealt damage before they gained the armor.
Chip damage. Yeah.
Oops.
You'll have to do it again. Yeah. Or you could just do it in duels, which is the easy way to do it, but, you know.
Right.
yeah.
Much more likely to get your double battle cries.
Yeah. It's...
I also like how Hat said lowering the curve is good in basically every deck in Hearthstone ever, unless I think you were talking about Paladin earlier, where Zako just cut like the cheap Libram from the deck.
It's...
And Edelweiss is playing like 7-10 drops or something in her deck. What?
Okay.
What's going on?
The
with
Edelweiss
Paladin?
situation
No, no,
defies
super greedy
common
that way.
logic. The Edelweiss situation is a unique warping of the space-time continuum that I do not feel qualified to comment
That
on.
deck also has Nosdormu. I mean,
Wait, what? Excuse me?
you
Hold on.
can guarantee draw Nosdormu now if you have you've got Nosdormu as your only dragon and 2 copies of the dragon tutoring Murloc. So you
Wait.
just enter the end game immediately.
We're playing different Paladin decks. My Paladin deck does not have a 4-mana 8/8 Nozdormu in it. Hold on. Okay. Let's back up. Let's rewind a little bit. This is new information.
Oh, that knows Dormu. What's the
Yeah.
other dragon?
The 9-mana neutral 8/8 that makes
no,
your turn.
What's the Paladin 10 drop that puts everybody
Nozari.
back at full health?
Nozari.
Nozari.
No.
Oh,
Okay,
Excuse
so-
me for
hold on.
mistaking the wrong dragon.
Yeah, no, I don't know how you
thought
could
it
have
was
mixed
just
up those
another
2
10
highly
drop
played
that we're
meta
adding to
staples.
this deck.
No, it's not. Edelweiss, okay. What are you talking about? Explain.
So if you play the 2/3 Paladin Murloc that
Yeah.
draws a dragon, and your only
Dragon
dragon
scale
is-
Wild Tamer, I think.
yeah, and your only dragon is Nosdormu, that means you're twice as likely, 3 times as likely to make sure that you have Nosdormu early, and you can drop it as soon as you've got enough clear in your hand. This deck of mine has, of course, double equality, double Libram, Wild Pyro, Consecrate, so it's like all the board clears.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say it's like greedy, but go
Oh,
on.
oh no, it is greed. I mean, you may as well title the deck greed. But yeah, you just drop Nosdormu, immediately enter the end game. If I'm playing against a shaman, they usually go all in, and then I equality clear their board, and then they do it again, and then I equality clear their board, and they have no stuff. So you just it's how to make your games faster as control. You're just like, okay, we have 10 mana now, go. People don't conserve their threats, and it's fine.
I wanna be here. I wanna be where you are. I don't know if I'm there, but I wanna be there. I will say I did so the Paladin list I'm playing,
Is a real deck.
I'll just say doesn't have any Nozdormus in it of 4-mana or 9-mana varieties. I have no Nozdormus. Also, the card in question, I said the wrong name. Red Scale Dragon Tamer, which is good. And I am playing that. It's Zako's Pure Paladin list, which will be in the Vicious Syndicate report tomorrow. It cuts Argent Braggart and Blessing of Authority and Libram of Wisdom. So when you're not running the Pure package and you're focused more on really beating Warrior and Demon Hunter, then we add in Amber Watcher, Bronze Explorer, and Hammer of the Naru. So Bronze Explorer, the 3-mana 2/3, discover a dragon, has lifesteal. Amber Watcher, the 5-mana 4/6, restore 8 health to any target. And then Hammer of the Naru, the new 6-mana 3/3 hammer. It's an epic that makes a 6/6 taunt when you play it, along with Carnival Griffin, the 5-mana 5/5 that when you corrupt it becomes an 8/8 with Divine Shield and Taunt. You just play 8/8s with Taunt the entire game over and over again until your opponent stops existing. And I've had some very interesting games with it. It's a lot of fun. It's a very good deck. The first 2 games I played with it felt atypical. First game I played with it was on mobile, so I don't have a replay. I played against a Cthulhu Highlander Paladin. I'll say that again. I played against a Cthulhu Highlander Paladin. They had Finley.
Trying that one too.
Finley for armor on turn 4, so they were tanking up. And they got Cthulhu and hit fatigue and then played the last Cthulhu spell. And they Cthulhu'd me and then I killed them. Because I just played Libram of Hope on my face the turn before they Cthulhu'd and they were going into fatigue, so they had to play it, and I went to 16, and then I went Lightforge Crusader, Aldor Peacekeeper, and they had a 1/6 in play, and then they died to fatigue. Yeah. Also,
I have Zephyrus in my Nosdormu list, but it is not Highlander.
okay.
Draws a lot of cards.
I am out of informed things to say about the universe you're in, so I appreciate you sharing your experience with us. I can't personally relate, but I appreciate it. I like watching the movie.
I'm gonna have to play both of these Paladin decks.
Yes.
Definitely got to play Hat's version because Hammer of the Naru is sweet, and also probably gonna try Edelweiss's version because
Yeah.
that sounds.
Do it after you've hit Legend or gotten to a floor.
That
or
was
whatever.
exactly my thought process. Is maybe use one to achieve being able to
I
play
do
the other
think
one.
I do think my record could be better. I made some misplays, but that's really easy to do.
I'm gonna avoid commenting on the phrase. I think my record could be better. I do think the next time one of you gets a not 80 gold 1500 experience quest, that clearly the solution here is challenge and then borrow decks and play the quest shaman against the Cthulhu Paladin and see what happens. That's the only way to know for sure.
It feels like Quest Shaman would be significantly favored in that
I
because
think so.
giving Quest Shaman 10 mana usually does bad things for you.
That's accurate.
Because Quest Shaman uses mana really well.
I believe you, but I lack experience in the matchup, so I'm not able to speak to that with any kind of authority. But speaking of which, the second game I played with the pure paladin list was against an ETC warrior, and we're going to talk about ETC warrior a lot later in the show. Just for those unaware, there is a combo that involves ETC, and then you penflinger it, and then you copy it twice, and then you give Libram, or you play animated broomstick. You can attack for 36, 42 damage for your ETC's live, but your opponent has to have minions in play. So when my opponent got to under 10 cards in their deck, and I had them at a low life total, I just stopped playing minions, and then I baited them by playing both of my consecrations. They went in when I only had one minion. They brought me down to 6, and then I played the generator risky skipper that they obviously didn't know about, the discounted Libram of Justice, the Amber Watcher to clear their board, and then they conceded because I had fatigued them. So very enjoyable, very high skill testing matchup, but also feels a little funky because the best way to beat that deck is to not play minions, which reminds me of Patron Warrior, and I don't think the deck is comparable to Patron Warrior, but I do think the play pattern of how you beat ETC is a little sketchy at the high level. Like, it's skill intensive, but I don't think that'll translate to a great experience if it stays as one of the better decks in the format for a while. So I'm curious to see what that means, but I felt like a genius after winning that game. So, enjoyed it. Since then, I've played more of it, and I've played against normal decks in normal situations, and so far the Paladin feels pretty strong. Feels pretty good to me. But meta still has...
Seems like you can just limit the amount of health that the minion you have on board it has, right? That's all that really matters, is the amount of attacks they get off is...
Yeah, you're navigating kind of...
output.
You're navigating kind of a narrow window because the deck also plays Rattlegore and Galakron in order to deal with the situations where your opponent doesn't play minions. And so in this case, looking back at the replay, they didn't have the Rattlegore early enough to... I didn't give them a chance to play it without dying, and they didn't have it early enough, so they couldn't develop it. They had to go in on the combo. But if you're in like a control mirror or whatever, then you actually win. Your plan A is play a Rattlegore and then copy it twice. And then that's how you win. And if you're against a priest... The game plan is get the combo in hand, then play the Rattlegore, let them steal it, and then they have something for you to rush into and you kill them. Which is... It's... So apparently the high-level priest players are silencing or zeffing for Hex now. It's a very... It reminds me a lot of like Anyfin Paladin versus Control Warrior back in the day. It's really nuanced and interesting from a high-level player perspective, but very confusing from, I think, an average ladder competitor perspective. Curious to see what they're going to do about that. I do think that Team 5 wants combo in the game. This particular play pattern, I think, is interesting now, and I'm curious to see how it ages.
Probably one of those things that's super interesting as long as it doesn't become the entire meta.
Correct. That's my instinct. That's kind of what I'm thinking. So, we'll see. But, having a lot of fun on ladder right now. I've been pushing a little bit in Wild. I am 19 wins away from Golden Demon Hunter. So I was like, alright, well, Odd Demon Hunter has to be kind of good in Wild, right? It's allegedly good. I lost like 4 games in a row with it, and then I'm like, I'm going to do something else. Oof. But Aggro Demon Hunter is still good in Standard. Soul Demon Hunter is obviously good, but I don't really feel like playing it. So I'm just going to figure out how to get those last 19 wins, and I might find an Odd Demon Hunter list or something in Wild. But, I don't know, just kind of goofing around and playing some stuff. Really enjoying duels existing, and I have not done a heroic duels, and I will not do a heroic duels because as soon as I allow that mode to become competitive, it loses its value for me. Because right now it is it is the in-between of Tavern Brawl and Ranked of if I want to play Hearthstone, but I don't want to care about being good at it, Casual Duels is the secret. And once I break the seal on competing in duels by entering Heroic, I'm worried that I can't put that genie back in the bottle. So I'm letting it be my my drunk mode. That's what that is. It's drunk mode.
Can you, with heroic duel, or because I know there's a achievement that you get for getting a duels run with certain number of wins that grants experience.
You can do that in casual.
Can
yeah.
you? Okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't sure if it was separate.
It's a lot of
There's one for
experience too.
each.
I got a 9-win
Yeah.
run in
Same.
casual, and it was 2 levels, like 2 full levels. It was pretty insane. It was a lot of XP. I was surprised because you get all the achievements up to it. Like there are achievements for each level of wins. So that was the first one I'd done after the achievement system came out. So I got for 1, for 2 wins, for 3 wins, for 4 wins, all 9 achievements in a row. It was a giant pile of experience. And all I had to do was.
It does kind of make me want to go for 12.
Yeah, but you can do that in casual, and so and there are some balance issues in duels right now. So if you see Warlock, probably take it and enjoy it while you can. If you see Double Time as a treasure, probably take it, and enjoy that while you can. Oh, and Demon Hunter as well. Demon Hunter Warlock seem kind of very good, kind of really really good.
It's the discard version, right? That one's
and
good
the
now that it costs 1 mana.
1 mana, and also the Treasure Killmox, which is the Rush Lifesteal
just
minion. It's
so
so
powerful.
bonkers. It's really, really crazy good. There were a lot of Warlock mirrors in the Duel-fest yesterday, so I imagine there will be some nudges coming soon to both Demon Hunter and Warlock, and the Double Time passive specifically, which is your first spell you turn cast twice. Like with Twin Slice, it's just your opponent basically starts with an Alexstrasza. Like they just Alex you on turn 1. It's because it deals so much damage. So, yeah. Enjoying the game. Having fun. Did a lot of content creation this past week. I guess we mentioned now, we're on the launcher. What's up with that? That's cool.
It's pretty sweet.
Yeah, that was something we got to do kind of behind the scenes. We didn't really announce much of it, and now it's there. Our name is literally, when you sign in to the game, it says Coin Concede there, which is kind of unreal.
It's a good word.
Got to really give a huge amount of credit to Kenny and Cora and Kevin Cookies and Cinder for creating this thing that has kind of gone to this point now where we're actually creating content that Play Hearthstone is using.
Yeah, and Appa for helping us build it in recent time. Shout out to Appa for being one of the anchors of the show for a very long time. And yeah, we did it, fam. We're there. It's definitely kind of freaky seeing it there. And of course, Bodicus, you had a great idea of the subject to cover of it's basically making peace with RNG, but kind of simplified and gussied up a little bit. We were really lucky to get that Rod of Roasting on, I think, the 3rd attempt. Like, it was super fast.
That could have taken so long.
We were prepared.
We had a couple.
It only took an hour for the two of us.
An hour to get all of the Cthulhu clips, and then maybe another hour to get the clips I really wanted to use. But yeah, I mean the idea was just that I wanted our video to be very on topic for something Coin Concede would cover on a podcast, and while the content might have been a little bit less than what we would usually cover, I think the subject matter in general, I don't know, it just kind of came to me as something that we would cover on the show, so it made it work, and it felt very us, which is I think what made it feel special. So I mean, huge credit to also both of you for helping evolve that idea, because mine was a much more simplified version, and of course Hat for doing a huge amount of work on social media and getting us noticed, I think, in the first place, and even getting the opportunity to do that video. So yeah, I mean, just a lot of effort went in before we got the opportunity to be on the launcher that got us there. So just I don't know, it feels really good.
Yeah, it's pretty great, and I will point out we were pretty surprised by it. Chris Sierra, who has been so supportive for quite some time now, just emails like, "Hey, you want to do this? We're just looking for a topic that's easy for people to. It's targeted at people that are new or returning to the game because I think that's kind of the target audience for launcher stuff, and just the essentials for people that are just getting back in. And this seemed like a great topic for helping guide people to, well, really just reduce tilt because that's kind of what we do on the show. And yeah, they didn't need any creative control. We just made the video and sent it to them, and they're like, "Yeah, this looks good." So we're very happy and flattered and honored, and it's just great to be recognized. I don't feel like that we necessarily do all that much. We just talk about Hearthstone a lot, but it's pretty amazing that Blizzard went out of their way and made sure that they included us. So really, really appreciate that from them.
It occurs to me that I might have made a mistake.
What'd you do?
Chris Sierra. Well, I think I added Chris Talis on Twitter as
Same
like
person.
a thanks.
It's the same
Oh,
person.
same person.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I wasn't positive once you said it, and I was making sure that I didn't have a mix-up.
Yeah, it's Atalis is the name he goes by on Twitter, I think, but he is, yeah.
Gotcha.
Yes. You're good. You're all set. You thanked the right person. Yes. So yeah. So that's kind of our week. So that's what we're giving thanks for. But also we have some news to talk about. So let's do that.
Gadgets and Gazette always gets the scoop.
All right, so not going to get into it too much, but we do have updates on reward track related topics. We have a post on Reddit from Blizz Kauza saying, "Hi all, we have a new update on compensation for the weekly quest issue. A few minutes ago, we pushed out a new and hopefully final wave of compensation to anyone who has missed weekly quests up to this point. To clarify, the full XP amount we're giving is 6,600 XP, 6,000 XP for the weekly quest, and an additional 600, 10%. Daily quests are still being worked on. Stay tuned." So
yeah,
people were having some issues not getting their new weekly quests, and so hopefully, if this was affecting you, you got your compensation and basically got given the weekly quest done for free. I'm sure you probably have to log in for that, but yeah, I mean, kind of issues we figured might happen with something as big and new as the reward track thing is, but yeah, they're trying to fix at least some parts of it. I mean, the outrage is still going, so we'll see what
we've heard.
What happens.
Yeah, we've heard, by the way, that the rollout in this competition is. I don't think it's hit everybody yet. We've had a couple people in our Discord mention that they haven't gotten the reimbursement yet, so I'm hoping it's the sort of thing that maybe takes them a couple days, or that they can get everyone sorted out. But at least they're trying. There's something going on there. Yeah, we're not going to marinate on the state of the rewards track too much. We do have a couple notes here, but
yeah, we didn't even get to touch on the issues I had last week.
Do you want to now?
Which aren't even big issues. I mean, it's not big stuff. It's just like people are complaining about stuff that they could fix these things too, but just like the only thing that really kind of annoyed me about the rewards track is that it says what level you're going to be next instead of what level you are on the rewards track.
And so it looks like
it always looks like you're the
there.
next level, because that's how literally everything always is like, okay, you are this level, and then it's obvious when you get the number of XP you get the next level, not hey, if you get this amount of XP you'll be the next level.
I should clarify,
my complaints are literally all UI.
I love that these are the biggest issues, that you're like, the number doesn't make me happy. Like I like that the issue is that it's confusing.
It's just not like it doesn't make logical sense to me, which, as we've heard over the copious amounts of Coin Concede episodes, logical fallacies and me don't mix, especially when involving pets and working. And then the only other thing is that it gives you the little notification when you have achievements to go click, which I don't really mind clicking that as much. I know some people don't
I
like
do.
going in and clicking too much, but I don't know why it doesn't give me a notification that I have rewards to claim on the rewards track. I feel like it should give you a little exclamation mark that's like, hey, go get your gold or go get your pack or whatever. It just seems like that would make a lot of sense too. But I mean, other than that, they'll tweak the numbers. Things will get better eventually. But it sucks that it wasn't better at the start. But I don't know. There's only so much complaining we'll do before it gets really annoying and it turns people off and makes you mute the Hearthstone subreddit like I did because I was tired of it.
You
I
mean
was tired of being sad.
you meant unsubscribe, right? That's what you said.
Yeah, whatever, same thing.
Yeah. You mean like set it on fire, never look back? Just like walk away with the Who playing in the background and put your sunglasses on, like that, with the giant explosion.
So like John Oliver to 2020.
Yes, exactly. Oh, what a wonderful man. Yeah, what were we just talking about? It's we're getting some questions as well in the chat. I came up with some acronyms. I have acronyms to help you if you want to know what modes you can do stuff in. So, achievements and portraits are rad because you can do them in ranked, arena, and duels. Achievements and portraits are rad. Ranked, arena, duels. But if you want to clear your quests, you got to play cards, casual, arena, ranked duels. Card, casual, arena, ranked duels. Follow me? Also, it's somewhat confusing, and I wish this was clearer. And also, I wish that maybe Tavern Brawls were in there. So instead of Rad, it could be Brad, and then Brad helps you do your achievements. But no Brad. Anyways,
How long did it take you to come up with these?
it took me a week of explaining the same thing over and over again. Like, all right, there needs to be a faster way to do this. and it's a little confusing, and I think that there's opportunity for them to tweak the look and feel, as has been discussed by literally every person talking about Hearthstone since Thursday, November 12th. So we're not going to belabor it, but just remember, achievements and portraits are rad, but to do quests, you need to do cards. And then we have this really cool thread that Tiago posted, so Bodikus can segue cleanly.
Yeah, so Tiago from HS Replay has a little thread about people are saying that Hearthstone is dead, which people are always saying that, but saying it in greater volumes, I guess, right now. So he put out some numbers because he has the data to all of HS Replay, which doesn't encompass every person who plays Hearthstone, but is probably the largest aggregator of Hearthstone information outside of Hearthstone. And so he has some numbers on total number of players playing game modes during the first week of every year of Hearthstone, and we're up fairly significantly. It looks like total number of it looks like total number of
these
recorded
are games.
Yeah, total number of recorded games is 18,040,000 over last year, which had somewhat low year of 10 million. And Rostacon's Rumble actually had a huge amount of games. So
Really?
we actually there's a big drop between Rostacon's Rumble and Descent of Dragons, where we went from 16 million games down to 10 million games, and then we're back up to 18 million games. And he has a few clarifications in the thread, just saying that you got to keep in mind that it's possible that HS Replay has gotten to a significant amount more of players. So it might be at a higher percentage of total players, which could skew the results. That it favors certain game modes. That also, they added a game mode. they added Battlegrounds, which wasn't in the last 2 years because it didn't exist.
So it
for the
was
last
out
2
for
years.
DoD, and this is a note that's important as well.
Oh,
Battlegrounds had been out for a month when DoD launched, and it was very, very popular, and they didn't have the ability to record the games yet. So that is kind of an important piece
Oh.
that's missing here. I would guess there were
Hmm.
quite a few BG games, like a few million probably, that were going on during that period, just because BG had just come out and
I
it was
don't know
so
about
popular.
a few, because the one for this year says 2.56.
Yeah,
So
I just think the
I
first
don't
month
know if
versus a
it's
year
more
later
than.
might be like it.
Yeah, true.
Remember, we were BG's mains then. Like, we were maining
Yeah.
BGs, and it was really special that first month, so I wouldn't be surprised that's a big number. Also of note, last year, no global pandemic. Kind of important. More people playing games during said thing. Yeah.
But yeah, also, essentially, his TLDR of the whole thing is game's still very popular. People are still playing the game a lot. Game is not dead. And I think that something I didn't even get to bring up when the person in charge of Hearthstone had their kind of they had the reveal of everything when they were revealing the rewards track and the new set and all of that. He said it multiple times to make a statement that millions of people play Hearthstone every day, and very specifically said it three times in a short period of time in his announcements. So basically kind of telling everybody that lots of people still play this game. It doesn't matter how much people want to tell you that the game is dying or the game is, people aren't playing it anymore. He's saying that lots of people still play this game every single day.
The Rostagon's Rumble thing makes me think that I'll bet people were excited for it the first week and logged a bunch of games and then realized that nothing changed and fell off, because I know a lot of people fell off after realizing that it didn't really impact the meta. I know a lot of people who quit the game at that point.
Yeah, there are a lot of factors going on, but I think the important point here, as Bodix alluded to, is that there's no noticeable drop here, and every piece of evidence we have indicates an increase. And so if you have heard any doom and gloom about Hearthstone dying, so far the data does not corroborate that. So be aware that if you want to keep playing Hearthstone and you are happy playing it, you should keep doing that. And if other people tell you they are not happy, then, of course, we commiserate with them, and we hope that they figure out a relationship with the game that is healthy, whether that means taking a step back, or whether that means moving on, or whether that means figuring something else out. But so far, it looks like the game has a solid future ahead of it and shows no sign of slowing down. Also of note, Matt makes a good point in the chat. The first week of Rostacon's Rumble was also the first full week with no Doom in the Tombs, so it's entirely possible people were excited to not face Evolve Shaman. That could be a thing, because there was a 2-month period in there where it was tough to maintain interest.
Wait, not first of Rumble, first of Descent of Dragons. Right?
Yeah. Yes, DoD. Yes, not Rumble. DoD. Yes, you're right. Yeah, the first.
Those weren't the same year.
Yes, DoD. You're right. Right.
And to be fair, the difference isn't that big if you're just looking at if you just look straight across at people playing standard. The numbers really don't change that much. Like the big drop offs are just, oh wow, it looks like a lot of people just did not play Tavern Brawl for the first week of Descent of Dragons.
They dropped
like
that's very
2 million
specific.
people. a lot of people for Rostacon's Rumble. 2 million people played the Tavern Brawl, and for Descent of Dragons, 170,000.
I have to look this Tavern Brawl up because, like,
that's like hugely
'cause
significant.
why?
Oh, wow.
What was it? I'm gonna look. I'm gonna
Maybe
investigate.
It was Randomonium.
Yeah, that must have been
honestly,
it.
I struggle to do any of them anymore.
Yeah.
Unless it's like a really exciting deck building thing, I'm kind of at my limit for Tavern Brawls. I might try a game or two to get the pack, and if I don't, I don't want to spend more time.
Oh, it
on
was
it.
Brawliseum. Okay, it was Brawliseum.
Heroic Brawls?
No, regular.
Heroic though.
Regular
Just
Brawliseum.
regular?
Wow.
For
Yeah.
Descent of Dragons, so people just don't.
No,
like...
for Rostacons.
Oh,
People
really
liked
like
it. Yes.
Ah.
That makes more sense.
What
Okay.
was it for Descent of Dragons where nobody wanted to do it?
That was let's see here. Some fascinating content of me reading the Hearthstone wiki live on stream.
Because even the for Darkmoon Fair, week 1 had 500,000 people playing it.
It was a redo of the single player decorating Dalaran. You know, where you have to attack Dalaran and decorate it with achievements and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely wonder what the drop off has been like since they lost Joe Mag doing the Tavern Brawls, because I've mentioned it before, but there's just been a significant decline in or I feel like there's been a fairly significant decline in the quality of Tavern Brawls ever since he left.
I'm not going to argue with that. There's
just been a lot of repeats. There hasn't been
a ton of repeats.
When Joe Mag was doing it, there was a lot of innovation and a lot of really fun, interesting Tavern Brawl designs, and it felt very consistently consistently changing and interesting to try. Even if it was just for like a game, it was pretty significantly fun.
Yeah. Oh, also, Capricious in chat reminds us of something that I had forgotten about. Remember when Tavern Brawl was bugged for a few days and you couldn't do it? They disabled it. There was a bug where I think it was around that time. Yeah, there was an issue where you couldn't actually play Tavern Brawls. I'm vaguely remembering that now, but it took a while.
Well, regardless, the main takeaway, not a dead game. We're fine. That was a heck of a tangent.
Yeah, it's okay.
No, obviously the main takeaway is that
Tavern Brawl dying, Hearthstone dying,
really...
Blizzard fix your game.
It's really popular.
Yeah.
Anyway, a few more items to note for news this week. We have a Thanks bundle. Is that really the name of it, Hat?
Yes.
Or did you put that in there?
No, that's really the name.
That's really it.
That's
they heard the episode where I said Coin Concede, and they were like, "That's what we'll call the bundle."
I guess so.
Got it.
So it's $20 for 20 Skullomance packs and 2 Madness at the Darkmoon Fair Legendaries. I don't know. It's if you still need Skullomance cards and still need Darkmoon Fair Legendaries, this is a really good deal. 2 Legendaries for $20 is a pretty good deal. I might end up purchasing this just to get the last couple Legendaries I need from the set.
I might as well.
Remember when you don't get that kind of deal? It used to be one. It used to be 1 Legendary and 20 packs.
I mean, it used to be just paying $1 per pack was a good deal, right? Like, it was always don't get packs unless there's a bundle of some kind, because that's when they're $1 per pack or better, right? It's only recently that we've been getting bundles with guaranteed Legendaries in them, and this is probably the most insane deal yet.
Yeah, they did one of these for Skullomance that was 10 Ashes packs and 10 Year of the Dragon packs and 2 Legendaries as well. And the important thing...
I forgot about that one.
The important thing to remember here is that this is a very specifically targeted bundle. It's a very good deal, but also this is a catch-up bundle that is primarily targeted at people that don't buy pre-orders, or at least that don't buy the big pre-orders. Because you're not... It's a week after the expansion. Someone that just bought both bundles is not going to be looking to spend more right now and shouldn't need to.
Well,
I mean,
I-
you can.
We'll see.
You can. I'm not buying it, right? Because
Might happen.
I don't need to buy it. I bought both major bundles, both pre-order bundles. I had 90-something packs in gold. I don't need this. For players that want to get by while spending less, this is if you need Scholomance cards and the Legendaries, this is a fantastic deal. If you don't need the Scholomance
Madness
cards... No, it's Scholomance packs.
Wait.
Yeah, it's Scholomance
Oh.
packs.
It's a catch-up
and
bundle.
Madness Legendaries.
Yeah, this is
okay.
This is designed to help people
That's
catch
my
up.
confusion.
Yeah. So if you were missing cards in the last set and you're missing legendaries from this, so if you're a more casual player, if you spend less on bundles, this is the best deal possible. And they do it once per expansion. They always do it a week after. But it's opt-in. You don't have to buy it. And so I have no reason to buy this. I'm not going to. They didn't include any cosmetics. It is just for collection purposes. They actually got a surprising amount of blowback in posting this because they've gotten blowback on everything lately. But it is the lowest cost for the most stuff that you can possibly get. They do it every expansion. And for people that are looking to catch up in a small amount of money invested, this is about as good as it gets. And I don't think that putting things on sale is an indication that you want the game to be more expensive. So, I don't know. I just am not going to buy it, and for the people that need both of these cards, they're not going to get a better deal. And so I'm glad they're doing it, and they've done it every expansion.
Yeah, making things cheaper, not generally a good strategy for being like trying to make things more expensive. I don't know how else to put that.
That's been my logic so far. That typically discounting prices doesn't increase the costs. Typically, it actually makes it go down. But so, listeners, we don't mean to be condescending or whatever. We know if you're listening to the show, you get the idea of where we're going with this. But it's kind of hard to not be really snarky about the volume of negativity on social media over the past 2 weeks because we just want to play Hearthstone and talk about the game. And it's been kind of difficult to do that without the noise kind of seeping in. This bundle's a good deal, but also it's meant for an audience that probably doesn't even listen to the show or maybe plays more casually. And if you do play more casually and you're missing cards from both sets, then we're glad to have you as a listener. And we'd recommend that you pick this up because it's going to be a pretty good value if you need Scholomance cards and Madness Legendaries. But if that doesn't describe
if you want to spend money on the game,
Yeah.
like if you don't want to spend money on the game, then probably don't look in the shop too often.
Yeah.
Because that's where you go to spend money. And most of the time, you don't even need to go to the shop unless you're spending gold on packs. So
it's so funny to say like, oh, greedy for making a Thanksgiving bundle, and it's like, well, okay. I mean, yeah, they'll probably get more sales than just regular packs in the shop if they didn't make a bundle. That's how sales work. Things get cheaper, and so people buy them when they wouldn't have because they're cheaper. But if you don't want to spend any money, you can just not buy them.
Yeah, like that's kind of what it comes down to, is that the people that have concerns with this, it's not a different concern, it's the same concern. They just found a new thing that was posted. It's getting pretty tiring with the constant negativity around the cost of the game, and I understand the concerns, we all do, but it's a good deal that is also optional. So thanks, Blizzard, for having a good deal that I don't have to buy. We're going to try really, really hard to maintain positivity, but man, it's hard. It's hard with how the state of social media has been, but we still all really like the game, and just trying to find some balance here.
I mean, speaking of positive social media things,
oh yeah,
something did get posted to social media that I would not have figured out unless somebody posted it to social media and I saw it.
Oh, yeah.
And that is that for those of you who don't know, who maybe don't go on Twitter as often, you can click the Yogg wheel to get it to stop. That doesn't mean you get to choose what Yogg lands on. It just means you can actually speed up the animation, which I'm sure most of you might not have known, because I definitely didn't know it. And so it's a post by one of the senior game producers that said specifically, we spent a bunch of time making sure the Yogg wheel can be clicked to stop the spinning, and whenever I see a streamer play it and they just let it run its full length, they smile.
Yep.
Which is pretty great, because honestly, having a card be so I don't know, be like so ubiquitously played where you just let the wheel spin and it spins for its full duration, especially a player like me or Hat, who I know just clicks constantly on the screen, just constantly clicking on the screen. But when you play Yogg, hands off.
How did none of the
Yogg-
three of us figure this out? We are constantly
Literally-
clicking
I have
to.
played 0 Yoggs, okay?
Yeah, okay,
Literally,
I understand
Yogg
you're an
take
old
the
god
wheel.
hipster. You gotta find time for Cthulhu and Yasharaj. Have you Nazothed yet? Have you Nazothed?
No. Yeah, I've Nazoth. I've played all of them except for Yogg, because, I have an agenda. I'll get to it eventually. I just haven't played any of the lists that it's in. I don't know.
Yeah, there's no room for it in Cthulhu, Yasharaj, Quest Shaman, I'm sure.
Nope. Does not fit. There's no spells. You can't activate it.
I realized that sounded sarcastic and I was trying to be sarcastic, but you're right, it would be a bad inclusion.
A lot of the decks I've been making actually are pretty minion heavy, except for exactly Spell Mage.
Yes.
There's a lot of minion heavy decks kind of that are good right now, I guess.
Yeah.
Minions are good, mainly because I think they keep stapling spells onto them.
We're making them 8/8s with Divine Shield and Taunt or Rush.
Yeah, there's a lot of minions with spells attached to them now, so I guess people playing a lot of minions. But yeah. So if you don't want the wheel to spin, I don't know why, but if you don't want the wheel to keep spinning, you can click it and it'll stop.
And just to be clear,
Does it fix the bug?
I don't know about the disconnect bug. There is still a disconnect bug for some instances of Rod of Roasting and some of these spells. Like, if your opponent mystery boxes you, I believe it disconnects, and you have to restart the client. Like, you can alt-tab out and close it and restart. They have acknowledged that they're working on it, and I don't think it's consistent. We should note, clicking it skips the animation, does not change the outcome. It stops the wheel on wherever it was going to stop already. You don't have control over the outcome. It's not like a mini game. It's just you click it and you skip the animation. So yeah.
But that's pretty much it for
Well, you missed something.
for the news.
You missed the random
we
golden
kind of-
legendaries.
Oh yeah. So also, you should, if you haven't, you should log into the client and see if you got a random golden legendary, because some people were randomly getting golden legendaries. I logged in and did not get this pop-up, which I'm wondering for how many people it was just a pop-up, and it might have been a golden legendary they already had and they just got the pop-up late. But I did not get a new golden legendary that I know of. But if you did, congratulations, because that's pretty cool.
We haven't figured this out yet, and I did pass this along to Blizzard, and they're like, this is weird, and so they're digging. But so far, it looks like if you bought one of the bundles, this could have happened to you. I didn't talk to anyone that didn't buy a bundle, but it doesn't matter which bundle, doesn't matter how many, not consistent with whether or not you watched the tournament yesterday, not consistent with if you had any quest issues. Some people got the pop-up, other people just got it added to their collection, had to search by new to see if they had it. One person to talk to Geminator, he got a brand new golden ETC, but no pop-up, and then he logged in the next day and got the pop-up for the legendary that it already had. It's strange. Don't anticipate this to happen to you. This is not an intended form of Blizzard compensation, which is why there has been no announcement about it, because nobody knows what's going on. But I don't foresee them removing these from people's accounts.
Right, I was gonna say.
I don't think that's gonna happen. I think that would be
I think it would be really difficult for them to do. Even I don't know how they would.
If they track down some rogue job that ran and did this and they can figure out the affected counts, they could theoretically do it. I don't foresee development resources being devoted to removing cards from people's accounts, especially given the current social landscape. I don't think that would go over super well. I wouldn't be surprised if they instead just hit everybody else and make sure everybody gets gold and legendary, but maybe this is just a random thing that happened and we're all just gonna it's just gonna be a thing. It's gonna be a thing. So no official news on this. We're just people came into the Discord like, did anybody else get a free golden legendary? A lot of people totally logged in. A lot of people were very excited to be like, ooh, let me check. But yeah, don't anticipate this, and if you don't get one, it's not a grand injustice. It's just a bug. Okay.
But that's the news. And this is weird because usually we go straight into Decksplanations, but there's this weird thing that we have before then that I haven't seen in a while.
We did it last week.
Why don't we talk about
Literally
some
last week.
Yeah, did you see how long that section was? Because I definitely did the timestamps.
That was like 45 seconds. Last week.
You really want to call that a section?
Yeah.
I mean, 40 of those seconds was just the bumper for it.
I will not have any more disrespecting of the tournament section.
It's the grand tournament.
All right, I have to stretch this section out so Bodicus finds it legitimate. So we're going to make sure we do that. So, Worlds are coming up on December 12th. That's in 2 weeks? 2 weeks? 2.5 weeks. December 12th is in 2.5 weeks. Ugh.
You know, if you have silent pauses in between each one of your statements, it's not actually going to increase the length of it because you have truncate silence when you do your editing, so it's actually not going to make the section that much longer.
Tell me more about how I edit the show. Let's go into that. Would you like to walk me through it?
No.
Also, I debated you into speaking during the section, so you have artificially padded tournament talk. Thank you for your support. Yo, shout out to Targaryen loyalists in the chat. They just got a golden legendary. What'd you get? So, got some more player profiles from Glory, from Monsanto, from Bank Yugi. I want to give a shout out to Monsanto here, who believes he's going to win because he has an awesome hat. Big fan of hat-based power. And then also the Darkmoon Duel-fest happened. So this was, to remind people of the format, it was a weird format. It was, ooh. Right, I forgot something. We're going to do a little bit of live. This is all getting edited out. I'm marking it down, but I forgot there was an article. Good call, PNSP. Thank you for that. Got some tournaments, and this was from a lot of Korean tournaments, THL Pro Series. Yeah, a lot of stuff. Okay. I'm going to link this. Thank you for that, PNSP. Thank you for reminding me. Ooh, Nara Stormcrack. Nice. All right, so we also had the Darkmoon Duel-fest. So for people that didn't watch yesterday, kind of a weird format. Tournament took 9 hours. Took a while because it was 3 closed circuit duels run, so all the players were on the same server. Everybody played until only one player had, like, if you get knocked out, you're done. So play until one player remains or one or more players reach 12 wins, which means if you get knocked out and you're playing the second round, you wait for a minute. So there was some significant downtime for some of the competitors. Players are awarded 10 points per game win, and once a player loses 3 times, they're out for the run. After 3 full runs are completed, individual scores from each run are combined, and the final scores is the decider for the event's results and prize pool. So apparently they shortened it to 2 runs. Round 1 took forever. Brian Kibler ended up being the winner, with Team Solary in second. Props to Brian Kibler.
Yes, Kibler.
Yeah. It was fun to watch. Definitely a long event. Definitely, like, they have some opportunity to work on the format a little bit. Just because duels content creators were talking about this being a little bit of an issue of how do you take a 12-win run and compress it into a single video? Because it's so long. And getting highlights is just so much editing work. But duels is really great, and people want to see the progression of a deck. They really want to see the buckets, which the buckets weren't displayed on Twitch either, which I think was kind of an opportunity that they need to work on. But it's the first major event using duels. There's a lot of potential here. I think there's a lot of potential value. So I'm glad they tried it out. Unfortunately, Twitch chat was garbage because, as expected, on the official Play Hearthstone channel, the mob was out in full force. including some people that were in there inciting the mob and tagging some Blizzard developers with not some nice things to say, and it was unfortunate. But if you close chat, then it was a good event. So yeah, and then also No Pros Here posted an article about the week 1 tournament meta. They aggregated some tournaments from, there's a Korean tournament here, there's TESPA playoffs, which happened this past week. It didn't get any advertising because there was no one streaming it, which is kind of unfortunate. There was the OSC series, which is from Latin America. There's THL Pro series. There was a lot of cool stuff on here and some analysis as to the first week decks. Now, this information is probably outdated already, but the effort that No Pros Here puts in is really exceptional, so we strongly recommend it. Shoutouts to Pasca, Disco, Snake Vods, and Agent PWE for getting this together. See, that's a real section, Botticus. We did it. That was a solid, that was at least 5 minutes.
Yay!
Yay!
Tournament section. And we might even have a longer one next week because Worlds is coming up. Well, 2 weeks.
2.5 weeks.
3.
Show in 3 weeks.
3 weeks.
I think the best part of the duels tournament was watching Sottle just comment on what would it be like to be Brian Kibler for a day? Can you imagine?
Yeah, it's. I can't imagine.
It's got a real Jamie Lannister look right now.
Imagine just if you wanted to pet Shiro right now, you could just do it. Imagine that.
It's probably slightly less great than it looks, which is really freaking great.
Do believe that. Yeah. All right. So we're not going to get too weird with this, and we're gonna transition to the next section right now.
So as much as I enjoy playing weird stuff in my private section of Hearthstone, there are some actual things shaping up in terms of the meta. We have a few key cards that sort of mark these out. There's Shard Shatter Mystic, just meaning Soul Demon Hunter. It's here to stay. It's really good against these board-based decks. I was facing one earlier, and they, I don't think, ever attacked anything that wasn't my face, so it didn't matter how much I was healing. It's just the consistent pressure is very powerful, and with tools like Relentless Pursuit from the new set, and some of them are running Il'gynoth for extra burst with Eldrachi Warblades. The pressure does mount pretty quickly. You will see some aggressor Demon Hunters as well because of Still Stepper and Acrobatics, but for the most part, Soul Demon Hunter is still a powerhouse across the board. Now, alongside that, another card to watch out for, Risky Skipper, still around. I mean, these are the things that are, holding down aggro in some capacity, and aggro is still around. We'll get to that, but you're going to see a lot of Risky Skippers. Warriors have lots of archetypes going on right now. There's the ETC Warrior, which is better than I expected. I really missed on that card. It's a real thing. It's basically a control warrior that just happens to have a combo in it. So watch out for that one if you can afford to. Be aware of how much damage your opponent is able to output, and if you can, usually they're going to be drawing more cards than you, so you might be able to fatigue them, but it gets difficult to not play minions sometimes. So
yeah,
that, if anything, animated broomstick, boy, that was a miss.
Wow, what a card! What a rock
missed on
star.
that card by a lot.
The card has been. It's one of the better cards in Scholomance, and
it might be the best card in Scholomance.
There are a lot of really good cards in that set, but it's up there.
In terms of universally played, right? As a neutral,
it's a neutral.
That makes it into a lot of decks.
I mean,
not a ton of amazing neutrals from
Penflinger.
But I would have said,
I
would have said Voracious Reader would have been
well.
the best one, and that's not even a playable.
Yeah,
that would not have been top
Voracious
3.
Reader,
It'd be Penflinger, Broomstick, and Wandmaker probably. Those 3.
Yeah, That sounds like 3.
Also, and like Enthrallment says in chat, also Keymaster Alabaster. Can't forget that one. Don't think about it too hard. But yeah, and I'm gonna pause right here because there are a bunch of decks that are good in this format, but Shard Shatter, Mystic, and Risky Skipper are the 2 cards at least at High Legend right now that define the format, and the structure around these. And there's been talk of Il'gynoth. The Il'gynoth combo deck is highly questionable, but Il'gynoth is very good in Soul Demon Hunter. And there's talk of ETC getting changed because it's 36 damage from hand, but it's a 5-card combo. Both of these decks, it feels like you lose to powerhouse combo turns, and in reality you're losing to incredible early game survival tools and support that are a little bit too efficient. You're not losing to Il'gynoth and Eldrachi Warblades and Skull of Gul'dan Slappy in Soul DH. You're losing to 3-mana Dustbreaker and Lapidary on 5 and just a lot of damage output and Bladed Lady and the sum of its parts. And the same with ETC Warrior. Without Skipper Smith, that deck doesn't really exist in the meta the same way, but because it can gain 30-ish armor, and you can Bloodsworn on top of that to win all the aggro matchups, it's actually Rattlegore Control Warrior with a 5-card combo to kill people.
Yeah, Skipper Armorsmith is pretty much in any warrior you're going to see at this point. Whether it's in Rage Warrior or which was doing very well at the start. I don't know if people have kept playing it. I'm sure Gabby's still playing it. But ETC Warrior and Rage Warrior, some people are just playing a Control Warrior with Cthulhu and Rattlegore. Just because it's like a decent win condition. That one I feel like is the weakest because it's not concrete enough win condition, and so with anything pretty mid-rangey, certainly any of the greed I've been playing, it's not hard to outlast them. I have killed all 9 stages of a Rattlegore and kept a board big enough to not be killed by Cthulhu and beaten those decks.
If you live in the Edelweiss dimension, you probably already know it. Be aware that most of this explanation is not going to apply to you. But yeah, I mean, in the ETC mirror, it is worth noting it feels like in the ETC mirror that you probably want to go even more for the combo and play Plate Breaker to win the mirror or whatever. But you actually lose to people not playing minions at a high enough level, so you have to include Rattlegore and Galakron. And honestly, in the mirror, it's Rattlegore, and then you copy the Rattlegore twice, and that's how you win the mirror, unless you can combo for full lethal. But so step 1 in the mirror is get above about 40 health. And step 2 is Rattlegore, copy it. But if you're playing double Old God Quest Shaman, then just whittle down that Rattlegore, just get him. You can even Instructor Fireheart into a Hex or a Devolving Missiles or whatever. I'm assuming you're playing Instructor Fireheart. I don't mean to presume the contents of your deck list.
Yeah, no. I am running an Instructor Fireheart. That for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, that just goes in all my shamans for the most part, except the one we're about to talk about, the Bog Spine Knuckles
Before
shamans.
we get there,
shamans.
Before we get there,
I play it in my list. It's
you
still
do?
good in that list. Yeah.
You play Fireheart, yeah. It's solid. It's a solid card. Before we get to the other decks, these 2 are kind of the hottest topic at the top of ladder right now. I expect they'll trickle down as well. And people have been talking about Demon Hunter all week. If you were to change any cards in these decks, what would you change? And if you weren't going to change cards, why not?
Delete Demon Hunter. I mean, wait, what? What were we talking about?
No, you answered the question. Botticus, you go first.
If I were to change any card in Soul Demon Hunter, make Skull of Gul'dan reduce cards by 2 instead of 3. Still hate that card. Or make it not. Oh, wait. I got the answer. Make it not reduce cards below 1.
All of Botticus's agendas just converged in this one perfect pure moment. Nerf Skull. Don't make it reduce by 9 by minimizing or by putting a floor in the discounting. Perfect. Would you change anything in Warrior? Have you seen a lot of Warrior?
I have a feeling that's probably been a bit more developed and probably a bit higher ranks than where I'm at right now. I don't want to change Risky Skipper just because I love that card, but it's probably too good. It's almost for sure too good. It might be the reason why that deck's so good, but I don't know. Like it feels like you said, Hat. There is ways to play around it at the super high level, and I don't know, that feels like a good place to be balanced around as long as the other stuff can still kind of survive. So until we see, GMs with that in every single lineup, then I think it's probably fine as long as it doesn't become a huge portion of the meta. But I think if you hit it, you probably have to hit Risky Skipper. But maybe that card's too core to that deck functioning that you have to hit something that's a little less defining. I don't think you can hit Armor Smith. That card.
I mean, you could. It's
So
yeah. Go ahead, Advice.
hear me out. Was card draw part of Warrior's identity? I don't think so, right?
You would have nerfed Battle
I doubt
Rage, huh?
Hall of Fame Battle Rage. They all die. It all dies.
Except for Bomb
It's-
Warrior. So you want to play against a lot of Bomb Warrior.
Oh,
That's
no,
what I'm hearing.
I don't want to do that.
That's what you
but
want to do, huh?
Bomb Warrior will be gone the soonest.
Well, Risky
mean, I
Skipper
lo- I
rotates the
love-
same time as Bomb Warrior.
Yeah.
Skipper rotates the same time.
Can I change my answer to, even though that's not part of the conversation, nerfing bombs to do 4 damage?
Oh,
You
man.
can.
Yeah.
You can do that.
That definitely I wish would happen. Because they feel so bad.
I haven't even seen a bomb warrior and I don't even know how long, and I still want bombs to go down
I've
to 4
seen multiple. I have seen multiple, and we're going to see more. But yeah, I don't know. Risky Skipper, I like, and I do enjoy this trend of decks we've been seeing around Skipper, Armorsmith, Battle Rage. It's been kind of nice for me to revisit, particularly with the Enrage Warriors. Reminds me of when I played Tempo Warrior before. But it is kind of odd that Warrior lost a lot of card draw when Accolade of Pain went away, and Battle Rage is kind of the glue that's tying anything card draw based together for Warrior, and it becomes either just ridiculously powerful or like useless.
Yeah. It feels pretty skill intensive playing it, but card draw is supposed to be a limitation for Warrior. They did get Cutting Class, and combined with Sword Eater, the new 4-mana 2/5 pirate that has taunt and gives you a 3/2 weapon, which by the way is a card that also you could nudge a number somewhere in that card and it would probably still
Could
be
be a
good.
2/4.
Could be a 2/4 pretty easily. But what I like about Sword Eater is that it's a good card for Warrior and a bad card for Bomb Warrior. I love that.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, I would say Sword Eater to 2/4 and Shard Shatter to 4 mana. Right? Duskbreaker was 4 mana. Shard Shatter Mystic can be 4 mana.
Yep. I don't know how much of these need to be nerfed, but I will say in the interest of allowing the format to develop a bit more, I would make I think 3 changes. I think I would make 3 changes. Shard Shatter to 4 is the easy one. You need to make a change to Warrior. I think Sword Eater is the easy one. Risky Skipper rotates in March, right? It rotates with Sen of Dragons. So does Bloodsworn Mercenary. And so does also the entire.
It's gonna lose a lot.
Yeah,
a lot of Warriors going away.
It is. Also, we're losing Wrench Caliber. Now I think that yes, we're losing Wrench Caliber in March. It's coming, Botticus. You won't have to deal with that anymore. So I don't know if they're going to nerf those cards on their way out the door because they're strong enough in Wild and they could nerf them and then revert them. That would be weird. I think that Sword Eater is the nerf that makes the most sense because it's also going to be very powerful going into next year. And the third card I would nerf, you're not seeing this coming, is Twin Slice. Because you can't have Aggro Demon Hunter be too good if you nerf Skipper and if you nerf Shard Shatter. and so make the second half of Twin Slice do 1 attack. Makes Bladed Lady a lot harder to get down. Makes Demon Hunter's damage from hand a lot worse. Makes Wand Maker a lot worse for Demon Hunter. They're already starting to cut it, which makes me a little nervous. Demon Hunter needs to do less damage. Both aggro and soul. And the card that they both have in common is Twin Slice, which has been a 2 of in every Demon Hunter list since the card was printed, whether it costs 0 or whether it costs 1. So it should be the first half can do 2 attack, the second half should do 1. Second half should do 1 less attack, because it's a bonus card, and that also, by the way, nerfs it in duels, which I think is fine. Demon Hunter needs to do less damage. Just a little bit less. Not a ton less, but a little bit less. And so Twin Slice is the card where you can do that. It's also in the Demon Hunter Initiate set, so that's also rotating out. But if they put it back in Classic, it needs to be less good. But I don't know if we need any of these, and I'm curious to see where the meta develops. But I wouldn't be surprised if there's a balance there where these two anti-aggro decks are keeping aggro in check, but a little bit too much, so we need to nudge this stuff.
Yeah, I can agree with that. And I think it was really well indicated to me when I did face a Soul Demon Hunter. And yeah, as you say, no Wand Maker, probably because they got swapped for Relentless Assault. Because Wand Maker, it would sometimes give you Twin Slice, which was 4 damage, and Relentless Assault just is the 4 damage.
Yep.
It's just they keep giving the class more damage cards because that's its identity, but that just means the whole deck is directed at your opponent's face, and it's more damage than you can possibly heal, for the most part. Unless you're specifically targeting it, maybe.
Unless you're playing other broken cards like Risky Skipper combined with Armor Smith. Also, I just realized we never got to play with Risky Skipper and Acolyte of Pain, and I think
We did for 2 months.
We did?
It was in Galakron's Awakening, so we had it right before the Priest Hall of Fame.
Oh, that's right.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was good.
Man.
It was
very
really good. It was good in Galakron Warrior. We drew a lot of cards, and then you would get like 5-7 Acolytes after, and 5-7 Skippers, and it was and I love how the biggest nerf they made to Warrior's card draw was a neutral, because we all know Acolyte was a Warrior card. Like, come on. So
well, you played it in all of the decks that wanted to draw cards because it was very good at drawing 2 cards on a 1/3 body.
I mean, I remember Freeze Mage. It was,
it was 5 mana, 1/2 draw card. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. It was a well-designed card, but it's just seen too much play for too long. It was a little bit too good at what it did. So I don't like, I miss it in some senses, but I'm glad it's not a part of the standard meta right now. Yeah. But so outside of those 2 decks, which we're not sure they're going to nerf, and I don't know if we need to, but if there was anything defining the format and limiting the format's development to be these 2 decks, we've got a few more that are pretty solid. And Botticus, one of them is one you've been running a lot of games on. Tell us about Evolve Shaman.
Yeah, so Evolve Shaman got a bunch of new tools in it. 2 of which, so one of which would definitely be Pitmaster, which is the 3 mana 1/2 that makes a 3/2, but if you corrupt it, which is after you play a Bogspine Knuckles, it corrupts it, and you get 2 3/2 duelists, which then you basically play the Bogspine Knuckles, corrupts the Pitmaster, and then next turn you get to play the Pitmaster and attack for 4, and make a pretty solid board. Just kind of more, because you already play the rabbits, right? The rabbits. Desert Hare, yeah. Play the bunnies, and just kind of more fodder for evolve targets. And then the other card, of course, being one I talked about earlier, which is the Derailed Coaster. But Derailed Coaster is more kind of like a stabilization tool that also helps you get down your Mogus. I know Hat was talking about a list that also played Sea Giant.
I don't know if it's good, but it's interesting.
It definitely... It feels like you might have room in that deck, because I don't know, the deck plays kind gosh, why am I so? I've been really bad at card names lately. 1 mana card. I'm pulling it up right
Sludge
now.
Slurper, Surging Tempest.
Surging Tempest, which I don't know, feels really weird in that deck because
Because you don't
the
want to
format.
evolve that body.
Well, it's more that the format just has so much early game stuff going on. It feels nice to have the tempo early of just a minion in play. Just the one. There's a lot of 1 mana 1/3s, and it feels really bad when a deck like this gets behind on board. But at the same time, there's not a whole lot of ways to get overloaded, so it's not really doing a whole lot of work in the deck. So I could see having more of the bigger end game threats in the deck. But yeah, I don't know. Sludge Slurpers felt really good, but obviously picking a time to play it when you're playing against a ton of Demon Hunters, because you don't really just want to play it on turn 1 into their turn 1, because then they just hero power and kill it for free, and then you're overloaded.
Yeah.
So
It's been my favorite way to overload Tempest is just Tempest on 1 and then Slurper Lackey on 2. That's kind of what I aim for. But also, it can be valuable in the mid game, but you definitely want to pair it with something if you're against a Demon Hunter. Like, you don't just run it out on 1, it's not valuable.
right. But yeah, I don't know. The deck feels really good. Bogspine Knuckles followed up by not Dread Corsair. Oh my gosh, why am I'm blanking on all
Horde
the,
Pillager?
all the card Horde Pillager. Is just a ton of damage to face, as well as
I mean,
kind of just
also Dread
improving-
Corsair.
I mean, also Dread Corsair, but mostly just like a constant stream of 4 damage weapons going face on top of just, you know, making your board better, and that going on is really good. And then also Revolve has been pretty solid, more so messing with your opponent's stuff, because making your stuff kind of like, it doesn't evolve your stuff, it just kind of turns it into different stuff. But I find against Paladin a lot, they, you know, they play a lot of buff cards on their stuff, or they have a lot of stuff with Divine Shield, which makes it really annoying to kind of value trade and then evolve your board. So just kind of messing with what Paladin is doing, because Paladin's another fairly popular class, is really good. So the deck just has a lot of good synergy, and then it's got good synergy, and then it's got some new powerful cards like Storm Strike, which is just a very good card that you put in pretty much all Shaman decks, because most of the time it kills 2 things, and sometimes it gives you a bunch of extra burst damage that kills them quickly.
I will note, last week I did talk as though this can go face, because at the time I did think it can go face. It cannot go face. You have to target a minion. It's still a very good card, but last week I thought it was a fireball. It's not a fireball. Can't do that.
Yeah, it's not a 3 mana.
Aggro
It's not a
Shaman
3
would be
mana
so
lava
good
burst.
if it could.
without
It's already
overload.
so good. I was like, oh, this has been really great for controlling the board. I bet it'd also be great at doming priest or something. It kind of is, but the first half of damage has to target a minion. So be aware of that, because last week I wasn't, and then I played a game shortly after the show, and I dragged it to the opponent's face, and then it didn't cast. So
I really appreciate how the enhancement shaman cards have done exactly that. I was worried it was going to be a new archetype mucking up the works for shaman, but it has in fact just enhanced other archetypes, which is very apt.
yeah. Well, also, like, Cage Match Custodian is just, it's an incredible
It's
card.
so insane.
Yeah. It's
Tutoring weapons has been consistently strong whenever it's been a thing. We had in Rogue, there was the
Raiding Party.
Raiding Party. Yeah, Raiding Party was insane. Corsair Cache has been insane
They
even
nerfed
since they nerfed it. And then now Cage Match Custodian, I think will be the first one to not see a nerf, because it's just solid.
Because if you nerf it, what does Shaman do? They have to give Shaman something, and at least this isn't flashy. People will lose a lot to this card and not realize it was because of the consistency of Custodian. So it's like, high-level pros will probably talk about it, but on your average ladder experience, people remember the card that ends the game as opposed to the card that makes the game get to that point. Custodian is sneaky good, but I am glad that this is the kind of card they gave Shaman, because it is what Shaman needs, of something that you pay 2 mana and you're like, I got a better deal than I should have, and I'm not overloaded next turn. Because this card, if you
It
printed
could've
this
been a
card,
1/1.
if you
It
printed this
honestly
card
just
2
could've
years
been
ago,
a
you just put
1/1, it'd
Overload
be
1 on
super
it,
good.
and then it's garbage. Like,
Yeah. I think the saddest part about this card is that it's not tutoring out the card that I know Hat wants it to tutor out.
Rune Dagger?
We're not tutoring Doomhammers.
Oh, Doomhammer.
Hat would be very happy if that was
There
what we were
there
doing.
are
But
aggro lists, but
there's
it's a lot
so-
better to get Knuckles. It's a lot better to get Knuckles, but
Knuckles or the totem.
Splitting
the
Axe,
totem weapon is good. I mean, in Totem Shaman, it's really it's good to tutor out that card that you really want.
yes,
I would
but
imagine some form of aggro deck existing with the Whack-a-Null.
yep,
Yep.
it's there. This creates a foundation that you can build out however you want to, but Totem Shaman is high rolling in the early game. That hasn't changed. And the context of playing totems into Demon Hunter or Risky Skipper has not changed. You can Bloom Eyesore in turn 1, and that's great if you get Bloom and
Revolve,
Eyesore.
By
Yeah,
the way.
but yeah,
That's the reason why I stopped playing Totem Shaman, is because Revolve just murders you when your totems get revolved.
yeah, it's you're gonna have a bad time there. And I don't know, like, I like aggro Shaman, but it's, if you want to do something goofy and standard with Shaman, and you want to play with all of these really powerful cards that build a board out of nowhere and you never run out of gas, it's got to be Evolve, and it's a fun deck, and I enjoy it. And the worst part of Evolve Shaman is the mirror matches, because they feel very goofy, and it feels like it comes down to Lightning Bloom a lot of the time, which is
Lightning Bloom and whoever overextends into Mogu. If you overextend into your opponent's Mogu and they get a free Mogu down and get to evolve it right away, you're in trouble. That's how I've
That
won
sounds
most of my
familiar.
games.
remember when that
I
card
remember
cost.
this discussion before.
Well, I'd say remember when that card cost 7, but remember when that card cost 0 but faster. Because
It
that's
costs
what
0
happened.
on turn 3 instead of turn 5.
Ugh. So, anyways, I will also say that Pure Paladin is a force in the meta. I know you were thinking I was gonna say Highlander Cthulhu Paladin. Nope. Pure Paladin. Pure Paladin is where it's at. And there may be a Libroom equivalent, but so far it hasn't seemed like that's a strategy that's translated as well. It didn't get a lot of new cards.
Oh.
Like, you can play it, but Pure Paladin seems to be very well positioned right now. In terms of the value of Pure Paladin, it's actually pretty good against Warrior, though the late game gets a little tricky. If they get combo in hand, it doesn't matter what life total or how many taunts you have, they just dome you for 36. But it's really, really good against Soul Demon Hunter. And the version I talked about earlier that Zacho recommended has been a lot of fun to play, and it feels notably different. Not having to deal with Libram of Wisdom is kind of nice, because as much as I like that engine, it's a lot of clicking and a lot of math, and it's kind of a pain, and I just don't like dealing with it as much. And even though this version of Pure Paladin is slightly different stats on curve, having 4 weapons in the deck, 2 Lightforged Zealots and 2 Hammer the Naru. Hammer the Naru is 9 damage. 6 mana,
9.
3/3 weapon. Bodicus, do you know how much damage that is? How much?
9.
9.
Although the good kind of 9.
Yes.
Because it's not reducing cards to costs that they shouldn't be.
Correct. The deck's only cost reduction is Librams, which we've determined Bodicus is okay with, and we don't even play Libram of Wisdom. It's just hope and justice. It's all we need in the world is hope and justice. So it's you gain a lot of life, and you have infinite beefy taunts, and it feels pretty fun. It feels like playing mono green and Magic back in the day, like just like big thing and a big thing and a big thing, and it's really enjoyable. And having a lot of life gain and really efficient threats is good. So, worth doing. And it lines up pretty well right now. Now, it does have trouble against decks that go under, and it has trouble against Rogue, so that hasn't changed. Aggro Demon Hunter is not great. You probably don't want to play against a Face Hunter with Freezing Traps. There haven't been as many of those that I've seen. And really, Aggro Demon Hunter kind of... The decks that we're talking about this week kind of split into... The Soul Demon Hunter and ETC don't lose to Aggro Demon Hunter all that much. They have good matchups there. They lose to big taunty things. They lose to Clowns, and they lose to Pure Paladin most of the time. There are other things that you can use, but really, big taunts are kind of how you deal with the 2 top decks in the meta right now. Again, ETC Warrior is going to depend on how quickly your opponent finds the combo and how good they are at the deck. But Pure Paladin and Clown Druid are both pretty good. Whereas these other 3 decks, Evolve Shaman, Pure Paladin, the last one we're going to talk about, which is Aggro Demon Hunter, they have different matchup spreads. And both Pure Paladin and Evolve Shaman really don't like it when you get under them. Evolve Shaman does not like facing the new Aggro Demon Hunter weapon, Dreadlord's Bite. That card is insane. It's so good.
That one hurts.
It's the 3-mana 3/2 outcast, deal 1 to all enemies. It even goes face, but like just clearing all your little piddly minions and doming, it's so powerful. It's really, really good in that matchup. And so far I've found in Pure Paladin, just play threats on curve and pressure, and it's usually good enough. You have a surprising amount of reach now with Hand of Adal and with Lightforge Zealot and with Hammer of the Naru, and you just get to play a lot of cheap giant minions too. It's fun. I'm having fun with it. I don't normally play a lot of Paladin.
I'm glad that it's seeing play because that was kind of what we were talking about when it first got revealed about Pure Paladin, is that you need a lot of Paladin cards to be able to play Pure Paladin. And if 6-set meta didn't have enough cards to play Pure Paladin, that would be kind of sad. So I'm glad that it's good, but it's not, it doesn't feel like it's overpowered good. It's just has a good spot in the meta, and yeah, I'm glad to see it. Definitely want to play me some Hammer of the Naru, because I think we were even talking about how it wasn't seeing a lot of play last week.
Yeah.
I was disappointed, but
We've turned that one around.
Yeah, people stop trying to make Ticketus happen, so you can play Paladin now. Because theoretically, Control Warlock, I think, beats Paladin, but also that...
Oh. Yeah, I've lost to the odd Warlock that's still around.
Yeah.
It feels real bad to get Ticketus.
But we'll come back to that, because I don't think you're going to be seeing a lot of Control Warlock in the ladder in the near future. And then this last deck, have either of you played a lot of Aggro DH? Because I know I have. I don't know if that's probably... It feels like it's just me.
Oh,
Probably
did you really
would
just
have.
ask that question of me?
Okay, I'm being polite to my co-hosts. Edelweiss, did you and not Botticus play any Aggro Demon Hunter?
Yet, I'm sure once I decide that I finally want to actually seriously push to Legend and quit messing around, I'll play probably Aggro Demon Hunter or the Aggro Rogue from before, because that's always my jam, and it will generally get me there.
Yeah. So I played a good bit of it. Looks like more than Botticus, so I'll talk about it a little bit. This deck is, we touched on it last week. It's super duper low curve. I will note that, of course, the day we released the video about cutting Skull, Wuling hit rank 21 Legend with a list that puts Skull back in. It's fine. It's no big deal.
But it doesn't have Stilt Stepper, right?
No, it doesn't have Acrobatics. They cut Acrobatics.
Oh.
Yeah, cut Acro and Mana Burn and one of the other 1-mana cards, so they could play higher cost cards because they weren't as dependent on Acro hitting, which I'm not sure is the way to go, but they're rank 21 Legend, so I don't know. But either way, curve super low, play a lot of 1-drops, play a lot of cards that draw other cards, Voracious Reader, Acrobatics, and Stilt Stepper. Want to make sure Stilt Stepper is activated as often as possible. Play as the new weapon, Dreadlord's Bite, which, as previously mentioned, is bonkers insane. The list that I'm running now does not even run Umberwing, because you really don't want to have an Umberwing in your hand when you need to play a card for Voracious Reader, and you also have a Dreadlord's Bite. It's just, Bite is so good that you don't need Umberwing, and 1/1s on turn 2 are pretty bad in this meta. They're pretty terrible, because everyone is trying to not have 1 health minions on turn 1. So I've enjoyed not playing that. It loses pretty hard to Soul Demon Hunter and Control Warrior most of the time, though the matchup is better against Soul DH than it was in the last meta. But it beats all the decks that are trying to beat those decks. And especially if you want to beat Clown Druid, you beat Clown Druid with this, because Clown Druid, we haven't talked about it, it's so greedy. It's really only a good idea for beating, well, Soul Demon Hunter and ETC Warrior, because anything with 1-drops in it just clowns on Clown Druid. It's so hard to survive and get to the point where you can actually go survival and a taunt and live and then play clowns.
Yeah, playing survival without KT is difficult.
Like, you can drop a
Against
strongman,
aggro.
but a single 10/10 taunt is nowhere near enough. You've been pressured the entire game. It's fine, but unless they have the perfect draw, it's pretty difficult for a druid to survive the Aggro Demon Hunter onslaught. It has so much damage from hand. So much damage from hand, a crazy amount.
Yeah, same with Evolved Shaman. I was playing a game where I think I went turn 3 Overgrowth, turn 4 Overgrowth, and still just didn't have enough time to get survival into clowns against the Evolved
yeah.
Shaman. Just had to play out clowns, and
Yeah.
they still died because
I dropped bunnies on curve against Druid.
Turn 3, 3/1/1s, go. Because they can't afford to hero power them, they have to ramp. And then you get them.
Mhm.
I like dropping them on turn 4.
Oh, with
I
reroll.
mean,
Fours.
It depends on
Yeah.
if you're on the
Oh, no,
coin
just-
or whatever. But like,
Oh,
Just
into the
dropping
Overgrowth
it on
turn?
turn 4 into the into their Overgrowth turn and also into your Bogspine Knuckles turn.
Mm.
Yeah.
Just so that they think that regardless of what's going on, that you're going to Knuckles them the next turn. And yeah, I don't
And
know,
if they
but I've
take a
also
turn
been
off
getting
the swipe,
swiped.
it's usually okay.
Right.
If they even have swipe in the list.
Right.
So it's interesting how things are shaping up here. There are a few other decks as well that we want to note that are cropping up. Highlander Hunter is picking up. We should note we were pretty low on Rinling's Rifle last week. Upon review, the card is bananas. It's very, very good. Even if you don't have Secret Synergy in your deck, I'm not sold on Petting Zoo yet, but Rinling's Rifle is fine even without Secret Synergy, and it has one of the highest
Because-
mulligan win rates in the deck.
Yeah, random secrets are a huge pain. Turns out. So
Yeah,
just
random
having a
for your
weapon that
opponent,
gives you
discovered for
2
yourself.
turns in a row.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
that card, when paired with Petting Zoo, if you play it on turn 4, and then on turn 5 you go attack, secret, or no, you go secret so you don't accidentally discover the wrong one, then attack, you get a second secret, then Petting Zoo is 3/3/3s. So you just get to set up a really nice Petting Zoo. I don't think Petting Zoo is great, but it's good enough to include if you're already running Phase Stalker and Rifle, and you should be running Rifle. We were
Mhm.
low on that last week, and the stats indicated we were wrong. Rogues are around, doing rogue things, but like they're kind of okay. But there's not really a major reason to play them right now, other than I want to play rogue. Same with Warlock Zoo. It's fine, but boy, you don't want to play that deck against skippers or against Soul Demon Hunters, because Duskbreaker is really good at 3 mana against your deck that's all X2s.
What about priest though?
Which priest?
That's the thing. Like, what have we settled on priest? People still figuring priest out?
No Hands was playing Split Priest, right?
He was. Yes, he's still calling it Q Priest. I think that's a dumb name. We're calling it Split Priest. But yeah,
It seems real good when you have a 3 mana card that reduces your splits down and lets you play them with other stuff. Lets you just curve, you get to curve, oh my gosh.
Devout People.
No, the demon, the 2 mana 3/5.
Oh,
Now you
Imprisoned
you get to
Fellhound.
curve,
Yeah.
yeah, you get to just curve Fellhound into split without needing coin now.
Yeah, palm rating's pretty insane. And the Nazmani Bloodweaver bug is still like looming pretty large, because it's such a huge deal that can hit 0 mana cards and it's not supposed to. So as soon as they fix that, we're going to see a big jump in Priest. And
It's gonna be insane.
I am terrified of a 3 mana mini Thaurissan with 5 health. I am terrified of that thing. Just 5 seems like the wrong number, but as of right now, people aren't really able to get it working because it can hit 0 mana cards and it just reduces the effectiveness. But it's still, the first day that I played with that deck, I got lucky with the hits, and I went turn 3 Palm Reading, turn 4 Bloodweaver, 4 spells, turn 5 Gahoon, and it was really strong. So,
Oh my god.
I don't know. I see a world in the future where they fix the bug and then reduce that to 4 health or something.
And then they killed them both, and you played Raise Dead and got back Goon and
Yes.
the Bloodweaver.
Yeah. So, meta shaping up, still learning things. Control Warlock kind of is bad. Sorry, friends. It's kind of not good.
Really had high hopes for Warlock.
It
I
was
do
definitely
think-
good day 2 deck.
Yes.
Day
I do
1, day
think
2.
it will
was
get
good.
there.
What do you think it's
because
missing?
It's missing this stuff rotating out, honestly.
Yeah. Yes, it's
I
it's
think
missing less competition. I don't know.
Yeah, pretty much. It could
It's
be
like-
part of it is Soul Demon Hunter. It's really hard for Warlock to ever heal enough with Soul Demon Hunter existing.
Yeah.
Because every time you hear a power feels so bad and you have to hear a power to do anything. But I worry that they may be in a position where, Zoo besides, any amount of healing strong enough for Warlock to do well against the Soul Demon Hunter type deck is probably overpowered for against anything else.
And
Man,
we're losing
Aronofsky
Netherbreath in
Broodmother-
rotation too. We're losing Netherbreath. That's pretty scary.
Yeah, Mogu Netherbreath has been just the thing for
Yeah.
a while.
Moarg.
Or Moarg.
Moarg.
Yeah.
Man, imagine if Aronofsky Broodmother was like a 3-mana 2/4 taunt.
Yeah.
It would just be like so much better. At 6 mana, that card is just so frustratingly awkwardly costed. It's just like the most awkward cost you can have.
You
'Cause
can
can't play both of them on one turn. It's just like this. The stats are okay.
But you know
Like,
what they
it's
did,
like-
right? They printed this card and they took it over to Final Design. They said, "How can we not make Q block happen again?" And they put it to 6 mana because you can't make Q block happen again.
Yeah.
Yeah, like Control Warlock. I'm looking at the numbers right now. Now, the last 3 days via Vicious Syndicate, these sample sizes are on the smaller side. We have like 100 or 200 games per matchup, so like not a ton. Only at Legend, only over the last 3 days. Control Warlock versus Soul Demon Hunter, the matchup is 21% win rate. I'm going to say that again. 21%. That means 4 out of 5 games the Soul Demon Hunter wins. That is about as lopsided a matchup as you get. The Evolved Shaman matchup, 35%. Pure Paladin slightly favored. Control Warrior, it's down to like 42, 43%, but the ticketus can actually matter there. Aggro Demon Hunter, it's actually favored. Miracle Rogue is unfavored slightly. Highlander Hunter, it's unfavored slightly. Clown Druid, it's heavily unfavored. But yeah, Control Warlock versus Soul Demon Hunter, last 3 days, Legends, 21% win rate. You can't do that. You can't play that deck. Just not going to happen.
Yeah, I believe Ticketus has been seeing play in Wild though.
Sure, Reno Jackson solves a lot of problems.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, I know, but generally, a card being played in Wild means it has some power behind it. It just needs other tools or a different meta. Ticketus
Kinda Wild is
a
like
really
it's
powerful
so
effect.
it is. Wild is so combo heavy though that like disrupting combo has so much more value in that meta. It's a lot harder to justify in standard.
Sure.
But
But
yeah,
we've just gotten a lot of combo based cards, and it's a few older archetypes that are holding things back a bit there. And so I wonder if come March there'll be a lot more combo-y or mid-rangey type decks, and Ticketus just shuts those down a lot of the time.
could see it. And
Soul Demon Hunter accepting.
we're also getting a mini set. So we'll see what those
Mhm.
35 cards do, because it's entirely possible that mini set can be used to shape the meta a little bit. I'm really curious about which direction that goes, along with any adjustments they choose to make. I bet they're going to be pretty careful with buffs if they're going to release mini sets. That would be my theory. Because historically, buffs have either been bad ideas or irrelevant. I can't think of too many buffs that hit the perfect balance.
Christology
Yeah, that card's really good. Like,
used to cost 2 mana.
at 1 mana, that's a
Yeah, it
cage
was
match
arguably
custodian
broken.
level.
Like,
It's
yeah.
I wouldn't want it back in standard right now.
That's fair.
I would not want go
Ooh.
get a broom and a pen flinger. Like I'm good. I'm all set. 1 mana, get a broom and
It
a
was
pen
Yeah.
one
flinger.
attack too, right? You could have gotten Aldors. I guess you're cutting that from lists, but
Yeah, I'm glad this is academic and we don't have to deal with it actually happening. Like I don't know, they buffed. The Aldor 10 is actually a meaningful buff, right? That was because
Yeah.
that cost 2. That was a 2 mana 2/3.
Yeah.
Much better at 1 mana. Librum of Justice was a good buff. They buffed one other Paladin card. I don't even remember what they changed. I'll look it up later. Some other brief stats. Zoo Warlock, 41.7% global win rate in Legend the last 3 days. It kind of loses to everything right now. I was very happy with that deck the first few days. But against both Demon Hunters has a 25% win rate over the last week. Or last 3 days. That's not a good number. And the Warrior matchup, not great either. So, I don't know. Kind of tricky to play Zoo right now. It felt okay when I was playing it, but it doesn't line up all that well. And I do remember it being very good against Control Warlock and Priest, and those are kind of not things. So,
Druid.
yeah. It was good against the day 1 decks, and it's less good against the week 1 deck. So, Totem Shaman's doing kind of okay. The Lifesteal combo Demon Hunter is doing kind of sort of okay, but not great. Highlander Hunter is starting to pick up a lot, both in terms of win rate and play rate. So I think there's some value there. I think there's something there.
I actually saw a Quest Highlander Hunter, and I was very confused.
Make Mariner's List. It's a lot of fun. You get some really good cards that add to Quest. I played a little bit of that. It was fun.
I watched Hat play with that deck and got demolished by Mech Rattle Hunter.
What?
That did happen.
Bookworm, right?
That was...
It was glorious.
Wait, didn't I win? Pretty sure I won.
I don't know.
I did not get demolished.
Oh, yeah.
That deck was cool. The deck was cool.
For you. That's right. I was praying for you to get demolished because you got
it was
Oblivitron.
It was really cool, and I enjoyed the experience, but I did kill her.
Yeah. Now I'm sad.
I'm sorry that I didn't let the cool thing happen. It was for. I keep wanting to say 80 gold.
No,
it was
you
for
did
experience.
let the cool thing happen. It's just the cool thing wasn't powerful enough.
Oh yes,
unfortunately.
Yeah, that's more accurate. And I guess that's kind of where we'll leave the section here. Things are still developing. We'll see where the meta heads over the long weekend, but hope everyone that's celebrating has a great Thanksgiving, and hope everybody else has a great weekend. We have many folks I'd like to thank. Check out our thanks section on the website at coinconcede.com. You can find our contact info, show notes, patron information. You can support our show at patreon.com/coinconcede. Join us every week live by following us on Twitch, twitch.coinconcede.com. Join our community chats in our Discord at discord.coinconcede.com, or into our email at coinconcede@gmail.com. Follow us on Twitter at coinconcede, like, share, and follow us on Facebook at facebook.com/coinconcede. If you like some CC swag, head over to our shop at shop.coinconcede.com. Big thanks to our producers, Number Theory, Itinerant Wizard, Tony S. Doshi, K. Carhu, Pug Ugly, and Probiwan. We also want to take this time to give a huge thanks to Chris Sierra, also known as Chris Atalis on Twitter, for making the launcher thing happen. Really amazing day. Really great. Thank you so much, Chris. Also going to give a Coin Concede to Saku here for donating some awesome bits in the chat. Edelweiss, who do you have for Coin Concedes?
Well, first off, actually had Coin Concede to you for doing this video thing so easy on us. Like, I don't know. Like, everyone played their part, and I think each of our segments was very us, but you did the heavy lifting in terms of the editing, and honestly, the getting noticed to be able to do this with all the streaming you did earlier. So,
streaming and significant amounts of time on Twitter.
On Twitter with your
replying and liking
your
and
tweet deck thing.
Honestly, building the community too, just in Discord and kind of everywhere.
This is the most positive feedback I've ever gotten for not shutting the F up. So thank you. Glad to do it.
Look, I mean, I feel like as the newest host, I'm kind of just on for the ride in terms of this opportunity. So I feel pretty lucky about that. But my other Coin Concede goes out to Walu, who I faced on the ladder earlier and was my very first ever Coin Concede. It's the first time I've had someone notice me on the ladder and Coin Concede. So Coin Concede right back, Walu, and we really appreciate the support.
They're in chat. They found you. Props, Walu. And don't worry, we'll post deck lists. But Edelweiss, you should probably post your code for your shaman deck in the chat. You should probably do that.
Preface: buyer beware.
Yeah, I think that everyone is pretty clear as to what they're getting into here. We'll just say probably don't craft cards for this list. think
Yeah.
that's going to be our warning. What about you, Batikus?
I am going to coin concede to the Squelch podcast, who had some very, very nice things to say when we got featured today. So Dano, Mad at Arms, and Thralamond, coin concede to you guys. You guys are a bundle of positivity, and I love you guys. So thanks for all the support.
Consistently been cheering us on, and their episode today apparently covers turkey trash bags, and I don't know what that phrase means, and I'm a little scared to find out. So, guess we'll investigate that off the air. I'm gonna coin concede to, well, first Regis Kilbin, because Regis Kilbin, first of all, had a nice take on Twitter Day of "Can we please stop all yelling at each other?" and I think that's wonderful. And people keep calling him a Blizzard shill that never speaks out, even though he made a video about the Battle Pass and has been saying during his streams every day that the game is too expensive for 5 years. Regis, you're great. And he came to our video and congratulated us on being on the launcher and commented, which was, it's a kind thing. So thank you, Regis. You're great. People that leave us reviews, you're also great. And the Play for Tempo podcast, and this is not a new podcast. This is the Arena Sensei podcast. But they're playing all sorts of modes. And Arena's kind of not getting a lot of love right now. And also, Schwal is big on playing for tempo. So, Schwal and Steven, thank you so much for the support you've had from over there. And we love the new name and have fun making the old show new again. And that's going to do it for Coin Concede this week. So, keep calm, have a happy Thanksgiving, and be nice on Twitter if you go on there. But if you don't, then chill. But unsubscribe from the Hearthstone Reddit. And if you see us on ladder, coin concede.
Coin concede.
Coin concede.
All right. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. Have a great holiday. Be safe, be healthy, don't travel, and we'll see you next week.